Open this door right now or I'm breaking it down.
Can you first tell me what this is about?
We got a call about a disturbance. You need to step outside.
A disturbance? I'm a nurse. I just worked a double shift. I've been asleep for 2 hours.
Ma'am, last warning. Open up or you're getting arrested.
Pause. Because if you've ever wondered how a routine call turns into a headline, it usually starts exactly like this. Volume, threats, and zero explanation. If you're new here, subscribe. These stories only get crazier. And comment your opinion right now. If a cop is at your door acting like this but won't explain why, do you open the door anyway? Or do you keep it locked and ask questions? Here's what the viral clip didn't show at first. That exhausted woman behind the door wasn't panicking. She was analyzing because Danielle Moore had spent 15 years in emergency medicine, and before that, she was a combat medic. She treated people under pressure, under chaos, under violence. She knew the difference between an actual emergency and someone trying to force control. It's 11:30 p.m. on a Thursday night in downtown Seattle, Capitol Hill area, a quiet apartment building full of working professionals. Danielle is 43. She just finished a brutal 16-hour shift at Seattle Grace Medical Center. Not the kind of shift where you're tired, the kind where your body doesn't know what day it is. She gets home around 9:15, showers, eats leftovers, and collapses into bed by 9:45. Then, 2 hours later, her door shakes with pounding. Boom, boom, boom. Police, open the door! Danielle's eyes snap open. She checks her phone. 11:28 p.m. Her apartment is silent. No music, no TV, no guests. The pounding gets louder, more aggressive, like someone wants the whole hallway to hear that she's being handled. She gets up in pajamas and does the first thing most people skip. She assesses. Through the peephole, she sees a uniformed officer, white male, 30s, body angled forward, hand hovering near his belt, angry posture. Not, I'm here to help. More like, I'm here to win. She doesn't open the door. Through the wood she calls out, calm and clear. What's this about? And that's when he makes the threat that should set off alarms for anyone watching. Open this door right now or I'm breaking it down. Danielle doesn't match his energy. She stays measured. Can you tell me what this is about? We got a call about a disturbance. You need to step outside. Danielle's brain goes clinical. A disturbance call has details. A caller, a unit number, a complainant, noise type, time logged. But he's giving her nothing, just a label and a command. A disturbance, she says. I'm a nurse. I just worked a double shift. I've been asleep for 2 hours. He answers with the oldest shortcut in the book. Escalation. Ma'am, last warning. Open up or you're getting arrested. This is where most people crack, because uniforms carry gravity. The threat of arrest feels immediate, and you start thinking, if I just open it, this ends faster. Danielle doesn't open it. Instead, she asks the question that forces truth to show itself. What disturbance? Who called? What unit did they report? What apartment number was listed? Silence. Then the crackle of his radio. And Danielle makes 3 moves. Fast, quiet, controlled. First, she starts recording audio on her phone. Second, she opens her doorbell camera app. Installed months ago for packages, but now it's evidence. The live view shows his face clearly. Officer Bradley Mitchell. Third, she texts her neighbor across the hall, Ryan, an attorney. Police at my door, aggressive, says disturbance. I was asleep, recording. Can you hear this? Ryan texts back immediately. I hear him. He's shouting, I'm recording too. Don't open it. Now the hallway isn't just a hallway. It's a documented scene with timestamps, 2 cameras, and a witness. Mitchell pounds again. Open the door, now! Danielle projects her voice so the recording captures every word. Officer, I'm willing to cooperate, but I need your name and badge number. Oh, don't need my badge number, he snaps. You need to open the door. Danielle doesn't argue emotionally. She answers like someone who's testified in court. Washington law gives me the right to know who is making contact with me. Identify yourself. His voice drops lower, more threatening. If you don't open this door in 5 seconds, I'm going to assume you're destroying evidence and I'm coming in. Evidence? Evidence of what? She's asleep in pajamas. He starts counting. 5, 4. Danielle doesn't plead. She doesn't bargain. She calls 911. This is Danielle Moore, Meridian Apartments, East Pine Street, apartment 312. There's an officer at my door threatening to break it down. He claims a disturbance call but won't explain. I was asleep. Can you verify the call and tell me what's happening? And this is the moment the whole thing begins to collapse. Dispatch checks. Then says the one sentence Mitchell didn't expect. Anyone to hear out loud. Ma'am, I'm not showing any disturbance calls to your address tonight. Danielle describes him. Seattle PD uniform, white male, 30s. Dispatch says, stay on the line. I'm connecting a supervisor. The pounding stops. Mitchell can hear the 911 call through the door. He can hear his story falling apart in real time. A new voice comes on Danielle's phone. This is Sergeant Williams with Seattle PD. Tell me what's going on. Danielle calmly lays out the timeline. Pounding, threats, refusal to identify, fake disturbance claim, countdown, intimidation. Sergeant Williams says, ask him for his name and badge number again. I'm on the line. Danielle calls through the door. Officer, I have Sergeant Williams on the phone. He's requesting your identification. Long pause. Then Mitchell answers, completely different now. Quieter, uncertain. This is Officer Bradley Mitchell. Badge 7429. Danielle repeats it into the phone, and Sergeant Williams drops the bomb. Miss Moore, Officer Mitchell is not assigned to your area tonight. He's not supposed to be in Capitol Hill. Do not open your door. I'm sending units now. Only open when you see me. You can practically hear Mitchell's decision-making short-circuit. On the doorbell cam, Danielle watches him step away from her door fast, walking down the hallway like a man trying to erase himself from the scene. 6 minutes later, multiple patrol cars arrive. A controlled knock replaces the pounding. Miss Moore, Sergeant Williams, please look through the peephole and verify. She checks. 4 officers. Name tags visible. Sergeant Williams holds his badge up to the peephole. Danielle opens the door. Williams is calm, professional, and visibly disturbed. He asks her to show everything. Danielle hands over the audio recording. The doorbell footage, the text exchange with Ryan. Ryan steps into the hall and confirms. There was no noise, no disturbance, no reason for an officer to be there, except the officer wanted to be there. Sergeant Williams looks at Danielle and says carefully, "This is very serious. An off-area officer showed up with no call for service and threatened forced entry. That's not procedure. That's not lawful. Something is wrong." And here's the part Danielle doesn't hear until the next morning. A detective calls her, not Internal Affairs, the sexual assault unit, because Mitchell wasn't just being aggressive, he was on a quiet list. For months there had been anonymous reports, women living alone, late-night disturbance claims, pressure to open doors, attempts to get inside. But there was a problem. Fast fear, trauma, and no clear ID meant the cases couldn't stick to one officer. Until Danielle. Danielle's footage gave them something predators hate. A clear face, a clear voice, a clear timeline, a fake call disproven by dispatch, and a witness next door. Danielle agrees to give a formal statement. Warrants follow quickly. Investigators pull Mitchell's device records and department access logs. And what they find is not a misunderstanding. It's a pattern. Searches for personal information without case justification. Repeated late-night appearances at residences with no calls for service. Notes, images, recordings. Evidence that turns suspicion into certainty. Mitchell is arrested within days. Charges stack up. Burglary-related offenses, stalking-related offenses, sexual assault charges tied to victims who finally feel safe enough to come forward once the suspect is identified. And when the case goes public, the department has no place to hide. Not because someone said it happened, because the doorbell camera shows the threat, the intimidation, the countdown, the refusal to ID, and the moment he realizes a supervisor is on the line. Danielle then does something that makes the story bigger than one arrest. She sues the city, not as a lottery ticket, but as a forcing mechanism. The claim is simple. The department had warning signs and failed to intervene aggressively enough to protect the public. The city fights at first. Then the evidence crushes the defense. A jury finds for Danielle. Damages are awarded. And, more importantly, policy reforms are ordered. Independent review of officer misconduct allegations, database auditing, automatic flags for suspicious searches, stricter rules on off-area activity, and mandatory camera usage for all public contacts. And Danielle, she goes back to work. She keeps saving lives. But now she also gives talks about something nobody teaches you in school. Documentation is protection. Calm questions matter. Calling 911 is allowed, even if the person at your door is wearing a badge. So I'll ask you again, because this is the entire lesson of the story. If someone in authority demands you open your door with threats but won't explain why, what do you, do? Comment your answer. Subscribe if you want more stories like this. Where the receipts exist, the timeline is clear, and accountability actually shows up.